I clearly awakened the world's only 6S level contract talent. I was still judged by the Academy to be a useless waif. It's because I can make a contract with any creature of any level, can control his body and soul at will. This ability is powerful, but it has a very obvious drawback. Is that the creature with whom a contract is made must be fully informed, voluntarily eat the contract gemstone, even if the soul rejects it in the slightest. It is useless. But what creature would give their lives to someone else? Seeing me give up on myself. Su Yao, my childhood friend, comforted me. Don't give up so easily. The world is so big. There must be creatures that are willing to let you control them. Smiled inferiorly. That's easy to say. Besides myself, who else would want to? Myself. I had a brainstorm. I swallowed the contract gemstone whole. If I can control myself perfectly, wouldn't that be the legendary 100% control of the body? After swallowing the crystal, the body undergoes a slight change. Green gas that only I could see. I floated into the air. Su Yao nervously asked if I was okay. I shook my head and smiled. Don't do that again. It was so scary. Seeing that I was fine, she let out a sigh of relief and turned towards the dormitory. She was going to join the patrol team the next morning. It has always been her dream to join the patrol team to protect her home. I was assigned to the job of a farmer. I was assigned to the profession of a farmer by the school. So I guess it will be difficult to see each other again in the future. Before he left, he looked at me. A look of reluctance disappeared into the depths of his eyes. We parted like this. I really didn't want to leave. I really wanted to give him a hug. This thought just popped into my head. My body suddenly moved on its own and hugged him tightly. After a moment, Su Yao shyly pushed me away, leaving me with a take care, and ran back to the dormitory. I stood there in a daze. I just hugged him without realizing. Did I subconsciously order myself to do that? I had to make sure how far I could control it. After a few attempts, I finally came to a conclusion. Now I can be sure of one thing. I can make my body do almost anything, but only within the limits of a normal human being, such as flying or becoming another species. In addition, some movements that I have not practiced before, but I can also do them according to memory. So in theory, as long as my physical fitness is up to par, I can master all kinds of martial arts. As long as I want to improve my physical fitness, I can become stronger. But now there is a problem that needs to be verified. It was running out. The next day before going to bed, I gave the order to get up at 4 and to go for a run. Although my consciousness was still sleeping, my body moved on its own. It was a bit like sleepwalking. At 6 o'clock, I woke up. I was already sitting in the cafeteria and saw the scene in front of me. I raised the corners of my mouth, and a hint of a smile appeared, just as I had guessed. The body can also execute commands. I don't think anyone noticed me. As I looked around, not far away, many classmates were making a lot of noise. Rose is here. Rose is the school beauty of the neighboring class, and also the school beauty of the Pearl Ability Academy. The most terrifying thing is, she is a catch for both genders. She has admirers not only among the male students. There are even quite a few admirers among the female students. I turned my head to follow the sound, but my pupil suddenly contracted. It froze in place. In my memory, Rose was a slender, beautiful girl, but what appeared before my eyes was a huge 2-meter-tall fox. She had a young girl's skin on her forehead, and she was standing in the middle of everyone. But everyone was completely unaware. They all admired her. Zhang, good morning. A huge fox passed by me, gave me a hoarse greeting. What's wrong with your face? You sick? I ordered myself to stay calm in my heart, nodding with a straight face. Rose, good morning. I had a nightmare last night. I just didn't sleep well. Have a class later. I have to go. I stood up and left the cafeteria as usual. Why are there alien beasts in school? No one has seen them. Did I just see them? I have to report this to the teacher. I quickly found the teaching office. But when I got there, I saw one of the teachers, who was also a fox in human skin. Seeing this scene, I walked past the teaching and research office without a change in expression, and did not go in to seek help. The teacher didn't seem reliable either. The human skins that the 2 alien beasts were wearing were very old. It was clear that they had been working in the school for more than a day or two. But before swallowing the contract gemstone, like most of the students, had no idea that Rose and the teacher she didn't know were alien beasts. So this change must have come from the contract gem I swallowed. Since this change came from the gemstone I ate yesterday, then what would happen if I ate another one? I picked up the contract gem and swallowed it again. This time, I felt as if I had been sublimated. It opened my eyes. I could only feel that the whole world had become bright and colorful. When I looked down at the ground, on the originally blank ground, there appeared a pool of illusory blood stain, and a voice came to my ears. Identify. The identification was successful. Playback. The sound. A horrific scene appears before my eyes. A huge fox in human skin is eating a human head. Could this be the awakening of the appraisal technique? I looked at my palm in confusion, and found that it was indeed. Identify. Summon Beast Zhang. Master Zhang. Race Human. Potential 3 stars. Lifespan 89. Contract Gem Level 1. By expending physical and mental energy, condense the contract gem. Once the target voluntarily accepts the contract gem, the life, soul and consciousness will be dominated by the summoner, but also gain the potential luck of the summoner. Absolute command. You have absolute control over your summoned beast. Your summoned beast absolutely cannot disobey your command. Obey your summoner's orders absolutely. Obey the summoner's orders absolutely. You will faithfully execute. Basic appraisal technique. You can see the specific values of the opponent. You can identify the target. The success rate of the appraisal was related to the difference in strength between the two sides. This talent came out of nowhere. Could it be related to the gemstone I ate again? But doubts. I returned to the classroom, analyzing the current situation. I became my own summoned beast and contractee. I am only under the control of the contractee. That is, my own control. Neither my body nor my mind are subject to outside interference, so any illusion is ineffective against me. I can therefore see through the true identity of the alienated beast. These alien beasts are all celestial foxes, and a very high ranking. I'm only level 1. I'm no match for them at all. A celestial fox relies on the ability to distort reality, even if it eats people in front of them, the eyes of others. They are just 2 students chatting normally. After class at noon, I hastily ate lunch and left school. I had already thought of an excuse during class to go to the patrol team to find Suya, and see how many alien beasts there are in the city. Found many Tahanu along the way. These foxes were walking around the street, and even talked to people like a human. 2 hours later, I arrived at the headquarters of the patrol team. I went to the information desk and asked, "Excuse me, I'm looking for someone." The fox behind the counter said in a hoarse voice, "You?" "Yes." "Who are you looking for?" I answered without changing my expression. "Su Yao. She should have reported for duty today." Fox nodded, and then checked the records. I waited in the lobby. Not long after, a celestial fox with Suyu's human skin on its forehead came over. "Chen, why did you come looking for me?" I smiled at him. "I was mainly worried that you wouldn't be able to adapt to the patrol team." "How do you feel?" Heavenly Fox pointed to the partner behind him. "They're all my teammate. Everyone takes care of me. I'll work hard to get stronger. I will go out to fight the alien beasts in the future, to avenge my parents." "Oh, we're still short of people. Do you want me to push you into the patrol team?" When I heard this, I kept shaking my head to show that I didn't want to. "It seems you're adapting well, and I won't bother you anymore." I turned around and left in a depressed mood. "Goodbye." So yeah. After arriving outside, I clenched my fists in anger. What a joke. Didn't you say the patrol team was the strongest in Pearl City? How could they have been wiped out? Su Jingwei just arrived today, and was killed. It seems that the fox has infiltrated not only the school, but the whole city. Everyone in Pearl City is their livestock. Next, I entered the Diagonal restaurant not far away. This restaurant has a good view of the gate to the patrol headquarters. An afternoon passed. I got the information I needed, and left. Through identification, it was discovered that Tahanu is divided into primary, intermediate, advanced and top. Most of the Tahanu are between the intermediate and advanced levels, but the patrols with a large number of high-level awakened people were no match for them. The one that killed Rose was very strong. My intuition tells me, once I use the appraisal technique on him, we'll be locked in position. So he is probably a top level, or even a king class being. Other Tahanu can defeat awakened beings by leaping levels. It must be him who made it. Like ordinary alien beasts, the Tahanu has a high intelligence and is good at disguising itself. On the surface, they live in harmony with humans. But that is only on the surface. Targets of choice are mostly people with great potential and strength, or people with prominent social status. The rest are their captive reserves. Confronting the Tahanu is like inviting death. But I can't just stand by and watch innocent people die. If I can become stronger. Time came a week later. I've been exercising hard these days. I've successfully advanced 1 level in physical fitness. In addition to daily exercise, I will also try to generate gems and eat the gems. I hope to get abilities or talents. Inabilities or talents. But since I woke up to the appraisal surgery, the gems I generate are all colorless. Eating them has no effect. They actually have color again. I threw the gemstone into my mouth, chewed it and swallowed. This time, suddenly, everything was quiet. It seemed as if the whole world had lost its voice. It took a while to emerge from the silence. The chirping of crickets and frogs resumed. I immediately released my own appraisal. and found that I had indeed acquired an extra talent, the ability to be a night owl. Night vision, and my sense of presence at night is greatly reduced. Movement speed increased dramatically. Weight loss being in the shadows. Completely invisible. And the contract gems have also been upgraded. Is it related to my own level? Every level up awakens a new talent. Wouldn't that be invincible? There's no time to lose. I'll go train now, and see how the new talent works. It's just after 4, and it's not even dawn yet. It's quiet all around. I'm the only one running on the playground. After gaining the ability to be a nightwalk, I found that my vision was even better than during the day. A ring on the ground caught my attention. It was a dark silver ring. I don't know who dropped it here. Although the ring material doesn't seem particularly precious, it is finely crafted. The pattern on the ring is particularly exquisite. It doesn't look like an ordinary ornament. I tried to use appraisal techniques to identify it, but I failed several times in a row. It wasn't until after 10 or so failed attempts I was able to determine the ring's attributes. Assassination rate. After wearing the ring, all living things will subconsciously ignore the wearer. Advanced, awakened, and above are immune. At the same time as the identification is successful. Picture of the past. The previous scene naturally appeared. Playback showed a man in white, a man wearing a black mask, and Rose fought on the playground. But the man was clearly no match for Rose. Not only had 3 of his fingers cut off, he was also cut in half. Rose is an orphan, and he is not the type to make enemies with people. Then there is only one possibility. Except for me, there is someone else. Are secretly fighting these monsters in Pearl City. As I pondered this, from afar, a hoarse voice suddenly came from the sky. Who is there? A heavenly fox jumped into the playground and lay down on the ground, sniffing the air carefully. The smell on the playground is very mixed, but he can tell how long the scents have been there. After searching, he subconsciously ignored one scent, so that he found nothing. There was no smell. How is that possible? I must inform His Highness at once. I used the Nightwalker's effect. I hid and watched the Sky Fox leave the playground. I felt a slight sigh of relief. Could this ring be a decoy left by the Celestial Fox? Whether or not this ring is a decoy, I have already picked it up. At this point, deliberately putting it back would only make me look more suspicious. I can only keep it for now. It was 5:03 in the morning. I returned to my dormitory. The assassination ring made me realize that strength is not limited to one's own power. Pearl City still has many magical equipment. These equipment are generally made by blacksmiths with special abilities. I decided to go out tonight to investigate, to see the price of this kind of equipment. At that moment, a voice suddenly entered my mind. Zhang is in danger. Hide. They're already here. The voice was very familiar. It was Suyu's voice. A few minutes later, Rose pushed open the door and walked leisurely into the dormitory. She walked around the dormitory and then walked up to me, lowered her head and looked straight ahead. The quiet dormitory was filled only with the sound of my even breathing. Rose's narrow, fox-like eyes narrowed slightly and extended her claws towards my head, but stopped at the last moment, without a hint of emotion. If this trash gets away, he'll surely jump up and fight for his life. And I didn't feel the rings or either. After thinking, he slowly withdrew his claws. The fox behind him asked in confusion, Your Highness, why didn't you kill him? This person goes for a morning run every day. But he didn't go out this morning. There must be something fishy about this. Rose shook her head coldly. It's not him. Don't waste food. The fox behind immediately realized that he had blabbed. He immediately lowered his head and tail. With a submissive look. Half an hour later, I, who was sleeping in the dormitory, suddenly opened my eyes. After making sure that the fox had left, I finally let my heart down. I was so scared. I had forgotten that I jog every morning. Luckily, I just ordered my body to sleep and didn't give myself away. I thought I heard Suyu's voice just now. Was it an illusion? And I went to the cafeteria as usual. Just arrived here. I heard many classmates discussing that the Black Death Star had died. She died near the school. Black Death Star is the notorious killer in Pearl City. As long as you can afford the price. Even the city lord dared to assassinate. It is said that the last lord of the city was injured by the Black Death Star, and later died of a relapse. Died young due to a relapse of his old injury. Could it be? The Black Death Star is the man in white who assassinated Rose last night. Even the top assassin was killed easily. Rose's strength is truly unfathomable. This time, the corpse was made public. It's to warn those who oppose the tiny forces. They will definitely step up their guard after this. I have to find some equipment to protect myself. After class, I'll go to the blacksmith shop. Time to go to the blacksmith's after school. I stopped at a street corner. Looking at the shop not far away, I found that the owner of this shop was Hanu. It seems that all the blacksmith shops in the city are controlled by the Sky Fox. Young man, come in and have a look. Hearing this, I repeatedly waved my hat, politely declined him, The most urgent task was to find a shop that was not controlled. Half an hour later, I arrived at a weapons store called Soul of Iron. After observing, the store was sparsely populated. Most of them were adventurers. The owner is human, not a celestial fox. A young man in his 30s is holding a thin sword and showing off his skills. Shopkeeper, this is a top-notch product. If you are willing to buy it, I'll give you a low price. The owner is getting old, and seems to be a bit senile. He took a puff of his pipe, and slowly opened his mouth. What did you say? My daughter is waiting for me to eat. He answered in a way that made no sense. The young man was instantly enraged. I immediately walked over and picked up his sword to examine it. Gorgeous one-handed sword. Fifth average quality. It's a useless weapon, and had been broken before. It was poorly repaired. When the young man saw it, he immediately came up in a rage to snatch it, and the sword snapped. Thin sword broke in half. Damn! How dare you ruin my good deed? Do you know who I am? I am a direct disciple of Master Ma of the Zingias martial arts school. Watch out! 5 lightning strikes. After a loud shout, he pounced like a cheetah. Pounced, but as soon as he got close, he was knocked back by my big push kick. Damn Liu Boguao. Growth value 1 star. Amazing talent. Wild and powerful. Any move used will have a strong special effect, but only the user can see it. If use, will cause the user to become immersed in their own world, and unable to extricate themselves. Is this guy here to make fun of me? I turned my back and ignored him, but he took the opportunity to attack me. He found out, knocked him to the ground with a single punch. At this moment, a woman's voice came from outside. I had only been gone for a short while. The shop became so lively. Did you roll yourself? Or should I give you a ride? Liu Boguo saw the woman's fierce appearance. Suddenly panicked. He left in a hurry, crawling and rolling. I was just about to leave, but he stopped me. Don't go. Let's talk. I asked him in confusion. What are we talking about? Jiang smiled and said, I'm a single woman. I have to work hard every day to make a living, and also take care of my uncle who has become confused. Because of his missing daughter. I see you are in good health, and you have a good character. Why don't you stay and become a blacksmith? Take care of Mr. Liu Chifeng. Help out in the shop. You'll get room and board and a salary. If you learn forging skills, you can save a lot of money on equipment in the future. And it seems that the shop is not controlled by the town. At this point, I agreed. Okay, I'm going to be the blacksmith king. A few days later, in the blacksmith shop, Qiu Tian instructed me to put the iron ingots and materials into the furnace, while stirring the fire with his hands. It didn't look like he was forging weapons. It looked more like kneading dough. Many of these materials need to be stirred by hand to make them even. This is why this method of forging weapons is also called the dough kneading method. And he went to get the mold and let me operate it myself. He just told me not to let the fire go out. He nodded and added the ingredients one after another. But I didn't expect to add too much. The flame suddenly exploded. I felt a burning pain in my stomach. I couldn't help but gasp in surprise. Who knew that by inhaling? The flames in the stove were sucked out of the stove by me. It was like water flowing into my nose. The warm flame traveled down my throat, into the heart. I had just taken in too much heat, causing the fire on the stove to go out. I covered my chest, and hurriedly checked my attributes. The appraisal was successful. Summon Beastia. Level 3. Growth value 4 stars. It also has the ability of a fire picker. Can transform into a fire elemental by consuming flames, stored in the body, and can release energy at any time, until the fire element is exhausted. Just as he was about to check, Qiu Jiang hurriedly came in, asking what was going on in the house. Wait a minute. Did you throw the red flame snake spirit into the furnace? That thing will explode. It's all my fault for not telling you. I awkwardly scratched my head to say that the cost of the damage to the house could be reimbursed. Qiu Qiang replied with a smile. No need. As long as the people are fine. The materials fused so well. This requires extremely high temperatures. Achieve the effect. You really are talented. School really misjudged you. With your current performance, you're more than qualified to join the top 3 organizations. I'm a bit curious. I'm curious to ask everyone. The patrol team, investigation team of the 3 major organizations. What is the name of the 3rd organization? Qiu Qiang said he didn't know what the organization was called. What does it do? No one knows. After saying that, he gave me the weapon he had just forged. Weapon is called Beauty's Tears. It was made of cold iron. It can easily cause damage to the ultimate alien beast. According to the materials on the mark, it's worth about 100,000. That's equivalent to 3 years of my salary. Fuck. This is a monthly salary of 3,000. Can I accept it? Hearing this, Qiu Qiang's sister laughed. It's a reward for your progress. There are still tasks to be done. I have to go now. Take care of the old man. He's a bit confused. Don't let him open the business. When I heard this, I nodded gratefully. Although the blacksmith shop was often closed, it had not been targeted by the fall. The noise was so loud. It is inevitable that they will pay attention to it. While it is dark, we should use the night walkers to patrol the area. I immediately started patrolling the area. As a result, I found an alien animal disguised as a little girl. This was the first time I had seen a low-level Tahan. Like me, it was a level 3. I have equipment to help me. I should be able to defeat it. Thinking to this point, I picked up my weapon and crept up to him. But then, chill ran down my spine. Then, a cold, female voice came to my ears. Are you going to attack children? Don't move or I'll kill you. Put away your thoughts of doing it. If you don't want to, come to the orphanage and find me in the martial arts hall. After I said that, the chill behind me slowly faded away. It seems that you are not with the Tahan. Otherwise, I would have already confessed. I grew up in an orphanage. I was young. I often practiced the King Turtle Fist in the small park nearby. That's why I named the park the Orphanage Martial Arts Training Ground. That woman knows me. Otherwise, how would she know my secret? She has been spying on me. So when I was about to do it, she stopped me. She lured me here. She must have some purpose. When I approached the park, I felt like I was being watched. There are other people in these woods. Then, a rat about the size of an adult domestic cat slowly emerged from behind a tree. It was an alienated beast. Positive identification. Alien armored rats. Alien rat level 5 tail. The bone spikes at the end of the tail are highly toxic. This poisonous rat is 2 levels higher than me, but he seems to be very cautious. He is backing away slowly. Should we be able to get away? No, if we don't deal with him now. Tomorrow the children from the orphanage will come to play in the park. They could be killed. It's just an alienated beast. With the equipment that Sister Kang gave me. After a brief analysis, I clutched my dagger. 10 chose to attack. I exerted my strength in an instant. The whole person in the dark is like a cheetah. The armored rat also did not dodge or evade. He curled up into a ball and quickly counterattacked. The armor-plated rat's fur is very hot. Even though the dagger in my hand is extremely sharp, it is still difficult to injure it. It is still difficult to injure it at all. After a brief standoff, the armored rat backed away and opened up some distance. Its scarlet eyes stared at me, and its tail continuously spewed out several globals of venom. Although I didn't have much combat experience, I could order Zhang to summon the beast to fight. It's like playing a game. Give orders. Dodge left and right. Observing the opponent's size, I discovered that they were a weak point. Only this area is not covered by armor, but it is rolled up in a ball. The defense is a bit tricky. We have to find a way to break it down. Its posture has changed. First, give the order. Chase the knight. This move is powerful and heavy. It's all about using your size to crush the beast. It is to crush small enemies by relying on its superior body size. Then he attacks the right side of the armored mouse. The armored rat is huddled up in a ball. Then release the energy of the ignited fire element. Finally, when he releases his defenses, directly attack his vital points. Dagger of the eye penetrate. In the blink of an eye, battle is over. After eliminating the alien beast, my level has also increased to 4. It's true that actual combat is much faster than training. It's strange that this rat appeared. There shouldn't be any other. There shouldn't be any other alien beast. Just thinking about this. Suddenly, a black circle appeared. The moment I saw the black circle, I wanted to jump away. But the next second I fell into the black circle. The blackness inside the black circle is not the blackness of the night, but a blackness that makes you unable to see anything. I could feel myself falling rapidly. There was nothing I could. It took about 30 seconds to stop. My body was covered in the blue liquid. The liquid was like a rubber suit, and wrapped me tightly. Only my head was exposed. Before I could figure out what was going on, I saw a woman in white. A woman wearing an ice mask on her face stood in front of me, holding an ice sword in her hand. As soon as I saw the woman, she put the sword to my neck. The coldness from the blade instantly sobered me up a lot. A familiar voice came from the woman. You have 5 minutes to prove that you are human. Prove you are human. I am human. How do I prove it? Did he also discover the alien beasts lurking in the city? He just couldn't tell. That's why he asked me to prove that I'm not a poisonous rat. Is he testing me? Can you give me a hint? Looking at the woman in front of me, I suddenly got a headache. The woman still didn't say a word, but was waiting for my proof. Thought about it. I decided to use the appraisal technique on the woman first. The appraisal failed. Failed? After a series of failed identification. Finally succeeded after 2 minutes. Name Lucy, race human, force of eradication. Potential 5 stars, level 20. 1 talent, water element. Control, can control the water element stored in the body at will. Water element stored in the body. The energy is so strong. No wonder it was so hard to identify. The power is the cleaning team. I've never heard of it. Could it be that it is the third largest organization? Third largest organization. I didn't think any further. After all, the most important thing now is to prove that you are human, not an alien beast. You would call this small part a martial arts training ground. That should be someone from the orphanage like me. But I don't remember any Lucy from the orphanage. He came from there. He must have changed his name. Tentatively listed all the surnames Liu. Liu Chuan, Liu Yisha, Dao, Liu Zushe, Liu Xingya, Liu Sisi. When I mentioned this name, he was clearly stunned for a moment. It seems that he is Liu Sisi. He was 3 years older than me in my memory. When I entered Pearl Academy of Ability, he had already graduated and joined the investigation team. I practiced with UCC for a few days when I was a kid. At the time, he taught me the heavenly and earth-shattering, the invincible fist. I took it seriously. The first is ha. Second is he. Third is ha-ha. Sky and earth are crumbling. Invincible fist. In order to prove that I am human, I recited the punching method that UCC taught me. After hearing this, and Lucy, who was originally calm and composed, was instantly embarrassed, and looked at me and said, "The second question is based on a survey. Your ability is a contract jet, because it cannot meet the activation conditions, and is rated as useless. So, why have you been acting so strangely lately? Your behavior has been so abnormal." I answered truthfully. 2 weeks ago, I ate the contract gemstone, and became a summoned beast, and am only under my own control, and therefore immune to the illusions of the alien beast, and can see through their disguises. According to my recent investigation, there are currently a large number of celestial foxes lurking in the sea. I suspect that a group has invaded Pearl City. Their inherent ability is cognitive distortion. Lucy asked me doubtfully if it was true. I continued to add slowly. The owner of the Wansheng breakfast shop, the owner of the Chuan furniture store, the 3 blacksmiths from the Dragon Spear Weapons Workshop. These are all low-level celestial foxes. You can check them out first. Lucy thought for a moment, looked at me, and then pressed a communicator, and told my teammates what I had said. A teammate named Jinbo said Pearl City has never had an alien beast called Hanu before. However, the abilities of cognitive distortion and subversion of common sense have both appeared in the past. We have already sent people to catch them. The 2 most recent ones should be back soon. As soon as he finished speaking, suddenly, a loud bang came from somewhere. The boss of the breakfast shop, who had been captured, was in a state of frenzy. Jinbo stepped forward and punched her directly in the chest. As the woman died, the disguised Hanu also revealed its true form. At the same time, in the academy, who was arrested, suddenly opened her eyes. A celestial fox asked what was wrong. He looked around and said, "Moon Knight is dead. Someone killed Moon Knight." He gave a powerful kick with his legs, and his body instantly appeared 100 meters in the air. Suddenly, he felt that another Tahanu had been killed. He was able to kill it quickly and then cover his scent, and evade my law. Who is it? Who was extremely angry. Let out a roar. The terrifying air wave turned into a strong wind, and immediately spread out in all directions. This time, in the dark room, Lucy's teammates' verification results came in. He untied me. He said, "Although the results had been verified, but we can't be sure that you found the Tahan. Whether it was a trap set by the other side. So I'm sorry. You can only be an informant, except for providing the location of the Tahan. We will not have any further contact. For the time being, I will protect you in the shadows. If you find anything, you can contact me at night." Hearing this, he smiled. Protection and surveillance. I understand. Don't worry. I will cooperate with you. As long as we can solve the problem with the Tahani, everything will be fine. Lucy then threw a jade tablet at me. Used the jade token to notify him, and generously gave me 10,000 pearl coins. Time was running out. The next day, as I was leaving the blacksmith shop, I saw a girl in martial arts clothes, distributing flyers. Want to learn Kung Fu? Anyone want to learn Beast King Kung Fu? I took the flyer out of curiosity. Beginner's Guide to Martial Arts 500 pearl coins. The Secret of the Beast King Fist 9,999 pearl coin. This is really not cheap, and I don't know if it's suitable for me. It's definitely worth the price. Our Beastmaster Fist. Quite famous in Pearl City. If you don't believe me, can I show you? The girl said, and quickly assumed a fighting stare. Demonstrated the first 3 moves of the Beast King Fist. Were the King of Apes, the Giant Crocodile, and the Phoenix Claws. I used my powers to start learning directly. This Beast King Fist is much better than the Ming Fist in terms of footwork, and moves are much better than the Ming One. It is indeed a good set of martial arts. The Beast King Fist has many different movements, and there is no set pattern. But he is obviously not skilled enough. He was unable to fully demonstrate the power of the Beast King Fist. When I helped the girl up, two burly men came, who allowed you people from the Beast King Fist school, and Elfwire's here. Hearing this, the girl hurriedly apologized. I'm sorry, I didn't know. I can't be punished here. The Beastmaster Fist is a lowly martial art. Is there anything to learn? I suggest you come to our Zingia's boxing school. A young man with yellow hair walked over while saying, Isn't this the Lightning Five Knees? Hearing my mocking words, Liu Boguo was instantly enraged. I haven't settled the score with you for the incident at the blacksmith shop last time. Then, Zhang Da and Zhang are going to teach me a lesson. I won't let you bully him. The girl quickly took me in her arms. Taking advantage of the gap, I randomly activated the appraisal technique. Name Zhang Da Zhang Erase Human Growth 1 star. Level 4 Talent Physical Enhancement. 70% decrease in intelligence. In exchange for a certain degree of physical strength. Skill Intelligence for physical strength. This is really a talent? I then checked the girl's information. Nenjingwei. Human race growth value 7 stars. Talent diligence makes up for lack of talent. 90% reduction in learning ability. Any skill can be improved through consistent exercise. Every day of persistence. The growth rate of the same type of exercise increases by 10%. Some unexpected. I didn't expect that Jim Wang is a true late-stage big shot. Now that he's so strong, he's helping me out. It's just like looking for a beating. This is my business. I'll handle it myself. Jim Wang is worried that I will be at a disadvantage against 3 people. He laughed and said. It said it was okay. Then you just demonstrate the Beast King Fist. You can use them to practice. Burly men pounced on me first. I ordered my body to quickly enter combat mode. Every move that Wang Jiming demonstrated just now. I copied them all. The 3 moves were over. There were 3 more disheveled figures on the ground. Let's go. Take me to the Beastmaster's dojo to save my life. After hearing my voice, Jim Wang came back to his senses. You're amazing. You learned it after just 1 look. From now on, if I don't understand any of the moves, you can teach me. With you helping me, I will definitely become stronger quickly. Hearing this, I nodded with a smile. I said to myself in my heart, you have the potential of a 7 star. At the very least, you'll be a high-level awakened person. You might even become a top-level awakened person. Maybe I'll need your help in the future. After I came to the martial arts school to register, I returned to the blacksmith shop, and soon it was time for the next class. A burly instructor in his 40s or 50s opened the door and walked in. In fact, most of the awakened body enhancement practitioners are very strong and muscular. They are all muscle giants. This instructor has a beard and has a pair of eyes that resemble those of a wolf. When he speaks, you can see that he has fangs, all standing at attention. If you are not in the right position, you will be punished by running 50 laps. When he spoke, I immediately activated the appraisal technique. Name Bait Race Human Affiliation Beastmaster Boxing Club. Potential 1 star. Level 25 Talent. Star Eating and Star Restoring. Gradually change your physique through food. Currently in the form of a wolf. Fierce fighting lion for. Very strong light from the perspective of attribute. And almost compete with loose. They looked around. Came to my front. You're the kid who helped teach the martial arts clinical lesson yesterday. Nodded in reply. Yes, kid. Watch out. They whined. And swung his fist at me. I couldn't say anything. I could only order. Keep on dodging. Kid, I heard you only watched the demonstration once. Unlearn the King of Beasts Monkey King style. Dade retracted his fist after a few probing movements. I didn't believe it at first. Now I believe it. It's a pity that the person who demonstrated it to you was a half-ass. Some of the steps are a million miles apart. I'll correct you later. Hearing this, I thanked Ben, and then looked at the others. It's time to see if you've been slacking off. Line up and spar with me. Those who don't meet the standard will have to do 500 push-ups, plus 10 kilometers of weightlifting. At this time, Jim Wang quietly pulled me. The instructor refused to teach me more. So after he corrects you later, can you teach me in private? Nodded. To indicate that it was okay. After class, you can go to the blacksmith shop with me. I'll be your sparring partner. Time passed quickly. A few days later, I will spare some time to coach Jim Wang in these few days. I will break down the moves of the Monkey King style into several small movements, and let him practice 1 move at a time. This is the only way to get some results. The Beast King Fist does have some merit. After practicing for a few days, I vaguely feel that there are signs of improvement in my level. Chukia, who had been away for a few days, returned to the blacksmith shop. He leaned against the counter and said wryly, Damn, I almost fell this time. I don't know what the hell. There are fewer wild beasts and alien beasts outside. We had to go deep into the northern mountains, and finally encountered a pack of wolves. and they were all alien beasts. I asked him if he was hurt. He shook his head and replied that he wasn't hurt. Fortunately, we hid with the earth-shifting shovel. The wolves couldn't find their prey, and went to attack the nearby wildlings. I took the opportunity to get a good thing from the wolves. Try it on. This is a rare find. As he spoke, he took out a green gemstone. After I took the gemstone, I used the appraisal technique to take a look. And fell. It is a very rare and precious biological crystal, which can be used to store the energy of the wind element. Through spiritual guidance, the wind element energy within the wind gemstone is released, thus forming attacks such as wind blade storms. When you first hold the gemstone, faint wind comes from the wind gem. Close my eyes. I carefully feel the touch, hardness and temperature of the wind gemstone. Suddenly, there was a pop sound. The voices of many men and women suddenly came into my ears one after another. My eyes widened slightly, and immediately used the appraisal on myself. The appraisal was successful. Summon Beast Gem level for Contract Gem level 4. Extra effect triggered Awakening talent. Haha, Wind Speaker. Randomly hears the sound of emotions within a 10-mile radius. Cannot be controlled actively. It's a new talent. It's the same as the last time with the Fire Eater. I didn't have time to think. Two hoarse voices suddenly entered my ears. 6 in addition to Jim Wei. There's another man. The man seemed to be in the college dormitory. Who made us skip blame? This one looks delicious. Let's eat them for lunch today. Yeah, I'll eat that kid. Jim Wei. You can have him. Hearing the sound, my heart sank. I looked at the door. Outside is the Sky Fox. Oh no. We've been spotted. I immediately took out the J tablet and sent a message to Lucy. But after waiting for a long time, there was no response from the other side. Both of them are the ultimate heavenly foxes. Even if you add in Tashini, there is no chance of winning at all. In order to avoid harming Sister Tiang and Uncle Yu, I decided to take Jim Wang and leave here first. The blacksmith's backyard. Jim Wang is still practicing. I tried to pull him away from the back door, but it was already too late. Two alien beasts are blocking the door. Where are you going? Hearing this familiar voice, Jim Wang asked in confusion. Mom and Dad, why are you here? Zheng is fine. They're my parents. I didn't say anything. While stopping Jim Wei, quickly checked the information on the Chudahan. Ultimate alien beast. Level 16. The Tahanu slowly approached, looking at us like prey. Who is this person next to Minmin? Why does he seem so scared of us? He's a friend from my boxing gym. As soon as he finished speaking, a black vortex suddenly appeared on the ground. I was overjoyed at the sight. It was a sign that the space was perfect. We saw our figures gradually falling into the vortex. The two heavenly foxes quickly waved their sharp claws and jumped up. In a panic, I quickly lowered myself with Jim Wang, but was still scratched on the back by a claw. After landing on the floor of the dark room, I quickly got up and looked warily at the two celestial foxes. The two celestial foxes reacted extremely quickly and pounced on us the moment they landed. There was no way to avoid them. This is the difference in rank. I could only use my dagger to fend off. The other fox attacked Jim Wang, just as he was about to be torn apart by the claw. Lucy finally arrived. Zheng stepped aside. After giving him a warning, he activated his ability directly. Next second, a blue weapon flew like a necklace, flashed through the air in a beautiful arc, and pierced the fox's chest in the blink of an eye. Lucy swung her sword and slashed the two heavenly foxes' neck. At this moment, the expressions of the heavenly foxes froze and fell straight to the ground. Seeing his parents die before his eyes, Jim Wang completely collapsed. He kept muttering to himself. Ma? I sighed deeply, explaining that they were not your parents. They're foxes in human form. These two alien beasts killed your parents and disguised themselves as them. Once the fox's skin was removed, revealed their ugly true forms. Seeing this, Jim Wang was completely stunned and couldn't believe what he was seeing. Tears flowed uncontrollably from his eyes. He was sorry, Mom and Dad. If I had realized earlier, what could I have done if I had noticed? After all, I was too weak. I couldn't even learn the simplest of boxing techniques. Why did this happen to my parents? Why wasn't it me who died? I couldn't bear to see him like that. So I went up to him and comforted him. Listen, it's not your fault. I'm the same as you. I also have someone very important to me who was killed by the Sky Fox. I can't help but think, if I had stopped him from going on patrol that day, would the tragedy have been avoided? But I know in my heart, even if I went back in time, the outcome would not have changed. Going to the patrol team was his dream. No one can stop him. No one can change what is destined. It's not your fault that your family was killed. But you can change the future. You can become stronger and protect other important people. I believe that your parents in heaven would be happy for you. As for these monsters in the city, believe me, I will wipe them out completely. Just as I was saying, I suddenly felt a wave of nausea in my chest. and vomited blood, and fainted. I had just ordered my body to hold on. I never thought that now that I'm relaxing, I suddenly felt a feeling of exhaustion. At this moment in the castle, there is a dense gathering of heavenly foxes. The fox that H. Rose sat on the throne. His voice was full of murderous intent. 9 of our own have died this week. It seems that humans have found a way to break the illusion. Fox with the human skin of a beautiful woman on its forehead. Your Highness, why don't we just kill everyone and take over the city? This was countered by another. The fox with the fat man's skin on its forehead retorted, then what will we eat? Grah. The heavenly foxes joined the discussion. As they discussed, it turned into a war of words. Rose narrowed her eyes slightly. A fierce aura enveloped the entire castle. It's not realistic to kill all humans in peace, and it would be a waste of food. The most urgent task is to lure those hiding in the dark out, then eliminate them one by one. I wonder if the deputy mayor has a countermeasure. Upon hearing this, the only human in the castle, Deputy Mayor, Wang Ziming, said, Your Highness, perhaps we can bring in other races. First, we can stir up the waters of Pearl City, and then focus on eliminating some of the strong humans. The 3 major organizations, in addition to the patrol and investigation teams, there's another team. Only the city lord knows. The king had severely injured the lord of the castle. The lord fled with injuries. His whereabouts are unknown. I suspect he is hiding in that organization. I know for sure that he won't leave the city. He must be waiting for us to make a mistake. The enchanting woman's Tahanu agreed. Inviting other races in. That's a good idea. It's also a good way to change things up a bit. Rose nodded and agreed to the plan. But the king is still asleep. Although you have helped my clan, if you dare to do anything, I will kill you just the same. I hope you understand your place. Wang Ziming heard this. Quickly knelt down to show his resolve. His eyes were cold. The corners of his mouth gradually rose. I have dedicated my life to the Pearl City. Unfortunately, the city lord is incompetent. Pearl City has not developed for a long time. The only hope that Pearl City will be taken over by a strong leader. At this time, I just woke up from a coma. The content of the meeting of the Heavenly Fox. I heard most of it through the Wind Whisperer. Naturally knew what was going on. So I told Lucy what the conversation was about. Lucy then reported the content to the organization. The deputy mayor has already betrayed humanity. As for the illusion that the king can strengthen the clan, and that even the top-level Awakened could not see through, then it must be the king of the Heavenly Foxes. Since their king is sleeping, now is the perfect time for us to strike back. Zhang, we need your cooperation to identify the celestial fox. Soon at the scavenger base, the upper level made a series of arrangements through a meeting. The first step was to activate the illusionary light screen to divide the Pearl City. The magic light curtain is a combination technique. A combination technique launched by the 3 members of the enchantment group Manny. In Earth, the 3 people work together to activate. Manny's ability is the black curtain. His advanced ability is the black passage and the black secret room. Lucy hinted to me a few times. It's provided by him. Rose's ability is light and shadow illusion. Advanced ability is dynamic illusion. He can change the color of light and shadow. He usually attacks at the same time as Manny, in addition to maintaining the security of the cleaning team's base. Occasionally, also provides Lucy with invisibility abilities. Jesus' ability is solar charging. His advanced ability is energy sharing. He is the power bank for Manny and Rose. The 2 can activate their abilities for a long time, entirely rely on Jesus to provide a huge amount of energy. Otherwise, the 2 of them simply couldn't support it. Most people are still sleeping late at night. They don't know that above the Pearl City, an invisible black curtain is slowly falling. Only, in an instant, the entire city was completely enveloped in it. The light curtain can pull creatures below the level of kings, pull into the suggestive space, and can also modify the scenery in the space at will, confuse the opponent. The next day, Pearl City continued to operate as usual. But no one realized that changes had already taken place. The foxes disguised as humans, Moon 1 and Moon 2 came out onto the street. They're responsible for providing food for the other celestial foxes in the city lord's mansion. To provide food, they must go out every day to select prey. This is not difficult in itself. It is now that there are human awakens working in the dark, which makes them dangerous. But they were sent out because they are naturally very powerful. Amongst who was walking on the road, suddenly stopped. He sensed something was wrong, but it was already too late. The magic light screen has already surrounded the 2 heavenly foxes. Kinbo suddenly appeared and launched a surprise attack with his fists. Fortunately, the punch missed its target. The 2 heavenly foxes are extremely fast, quickly distancing themselves, then dodged to a distance. Heavenly foxes glared at Jinbo. How dare you attack us so openly in the Pearl City? Won't you attack on us? And not afraid that we will call for reinforcement? Jinbo sneered after hearing this. Why don't you try calling for help? His ability is called Golden Blade. At the moment of use, a large number of golden lightning patterns appear on his body, and all his hair stands on end, and became golden and glittering. According to intelligence, 2 celestial foxes are level 25. For him, who is level 32, should be no problem. But he didn't expect that as soon as they started fighting, Jinbo took a hidden law. He clearly blocked the opponent's attack, but he was inexplicably injured. Seeing this scene, Moon One taunted him with pride. Is this your best? I really don't know how those of the same kind were killed. However, he was only able to gloat for a second. Jinbo's fist smashed his head. Moon One was knocked out of the ring by a single punch, and his body slammed into the concrete. Seeing this, Moon Two flung his claws at him. Jinbo didn't pay any attention to him, but instead, he grabbed the arm of the Heavenly Fox by instinct. So that's how it is. Although I can't see, I can roughly figure out your sizes. This ability is indeed very good for ambushes. It's not enough to fight head-on. Whose arm had been broken, let out a painful scream. Saying this, Moon One jumped from afar and pounced on him. Before he could get close, was knocked back by the jade thrown at him. Jinbo used his feet to bounce into the air. He lifted his left leg and kicked down with all his strength, as if kicking a soccer ball, kicking the 2 Heavenly Foxes to the ground. Why can't I sense my kind? We've been tricked. The 2 Heavenly Foxes let out a desperate roar. Jinbo began to punch wildly, as if to vent all the anger, to vent on them. Before long, the 2 foxes had broken their arms, and their internal organs were shattered. The whole body was beaten up in a terrible way. Lucy and I watched from afar, watched the scene quietly. Jinbo is the leader of the combat team. His strength is really strong. After a while, Lucy received an order from her superior. Lucy, in Shibai, the alien beasts outside the city. For unknown reasons, they have begun to gather and run. If they enter the city at this time, it will increase the burden on the illusionary light screen. Go outside the city to investigate the situation. Shun, it will be a good opportunity to train his combat skills. Sahanu he identified earlier has already been recorded. I will arrange for the combat team to deal with it. Hearing this, I suddenly thought of Sister Qian, a storm that gathered in groups. Could this be related to this as well? After the call ended, Lucy called out and left the place. I followed her out of curiosity. Was that person a big shot? Lucy nodded, and replied that he was our leader. You will meet him after the mission is over. Soon after, I followed Lucy outside the city. It was the first time I had ever left the city. It didn't feel as dangerous as I had imagined. Teeth. What are these plants? Just as I was curious about the fiery red plants by the roadside, looking at, I was suddenly pulled back by Lucy. Don't go over there. It's dangerous. The fruit of this plant, called hydrochloric acid grass, are rich in hydrochloric acid, extremely corrosive. And when ripe, they burst into the air like a projectile, and then burst open in the sky, and scatter the seeds in all directions. Be careful. There is also a kind of alien beast that feeds on hydrochloric acid grass. Lucy said that, pointed to a white rabbit. A white rabbit eating hydrochloric acid grass. That's your first opponent. I'm going to investigate the alien beast surprise. Don't go far while I'm gone. I looked at the rabbit, without saying a word. Identified it. Success. Water bullet rabbit. Junior alien. Level 9 talent. Water bullet. Can shoot highly corrosive water from sweat glands hidden in the ears. Shoot out highly corrosive water. This rabbit looks harmless, but is actually higher in rank than the poisonous rat. Before he notices, strike first. After thinking it over, I threw the dagger, hurriedly threw at the back of the rabbit that was foraging for food. The rabbit seemed to have eyes in the back of its head. At the very moment the dagger was about to hit, jumped out of the way. Seeing this, his hands burst into flames, and leapt toward him, and hammered him directly. The stone water bullet rabbit quickly curled up into a ball. A large amount of green liquid spurted from its ears. The liquid was like a shotgun, and fired at a very high rate of speed, and it all sprayed on me. And the rabbit hopped around, jumped around in the clover. A large number of the acid grass were triggered by it. I saw this and quickly, I dodged and analyzed the situation. This rabbit is immune to the poison of the acid grass, and it is very cunning. But it sprayed acid to prevent me from getting close, and then deliberately led me to the place where the fruit was ripe. Not easy to deal with. By the way, why didn't the acid corrode me? I clearly caught the bullet rabbit's acid with my hand. Could it be because of the fire? At this point, the rabbit launched another acid attack. I swept my left arm tentatively, and flames spewed out. In an instant, the wall of flame formed, sucking all the acid. It was indeed found that the acid was afraid of fire. was directly vaporized by the heat. Stone water bullet rabbit saw that my long-range attack was ineffective, and immediately showed a fierce expression. Suddenly, he sped up and pounced on me in the blink of an eye. Close combat. I kept attacking with my dagger and blocking. I was still careless and got a scratch. And his claws also had a corrosive effect. In order to prevent further corrosion, I had to release a burst of flame, covering my entire body. This also caused the fire reserve to be depleted quickly. I immediately attacked the rabbit. While attacking, I also released the remaining flames, locking him in place. Water bullet soon had no way to escape, and was cornered, facing my attack. He jumped into the air. But that's just what I wanted. In the air. I'll see how you can dodge. After I had absorbed the flames back into my butt, I threw a wall of flames at the rabbit. With a bang, the rabbit screamed and fell back to the ground. I saw that he was not dead. I took out my dagger and went up to finish him off with a few more slashes. Killing the water-eating rabbit. All attributes increased by 2. No wonder it's a level 9 monster. Killing one actually added 2 points of attribute. Unfortunately, the level did not increase. Higher the level, the harder it is to level up. Therefore, after gaining experience through training and killing monsters, it is common for attributes to increase without leveling up. Just when I was overjoyed, a buzzing sound came from my ears. I turned around and saw. I didn't know it. Suddenly appeared a dense barrage of stone bull, under the roar of a rabbit that was a size larger than the others. The other rabbits, as if on command, pounced on them all. Help! I ran for my life, while signaling Lucy. But before I could run a few steps, I found myself surrounded. The rabbits launched a collective acid attack. I had no more firepower. I could only huddle together and try to shield myself with my clothes. But the acid didn't fall on me. It was all stopped by an ice wall. This familiar water element is indeed Cece. After Lucy came to my side, flung her arms out. Next second, the waves of water rushed toward the rabbit. The rabbits didn't have time to dodge. Most of them were swept into the water current. With a snap of Lucy's fingers, the water quickly froze into ice. Seeing that, I was stunned. That's amazing. I just used all my strength to deal with one. The other rabbits that survived were not afraid, but instead, they rushed at. But strangely enough, they didn't attack us. It was as if they were attracted, and crashed into the ice wall where the rabbit leader was. Lucy noticed this strange scene, so she took out her sword, and killed all the remaining rabbits, then safely broke the ice wall. After carefully searching the body of the rabbit chief, and found a blue bead. The bead was a deep blue, and it also exuded an indescribable fragrance. Lucy explained that it was a soul-attracting kill. It was made by an organization who used to control the alien beast. The Zoo family, the masters of beasts, have indeed appeared. It said that the soul-attracting pill emits a unique aroma that only mid to low level beast can smell. The aroma will lure the alien beast to eat. The alienated beast that eats the soul luring pill will lose its mind, and eventually be forced to be domesticated. How the Zoo family controls these alien beasts is still unknown. The riot of the alien beasts should be related to the soul-attracting pills. I will report to headquarters whether it was the Zoo family's doing. Until the investigation is clear, you will practice with me outside the city. I nodded after hearing this. He answered, yes, but I didn't know that behind the tree, the black-clad man was quietly watching the scene. Lucy seemed to have sensed something, and swung the sword energy to cut the tree. But after the tree fell, there was nothing to be found. No one. Is it my illusion? Time is running out. A week later, in the city of Pearl, in the city hall, the Tahanu that ate Rose sat in the main hall, listening to the reports of his subordinate. The Tahanu living around the artisan street have all gathered here. Rose nodded after hearing this. Looked down. I'm sure you all know. Recently, humans have found a way to break the spirit control, causing heavy casualties in my clan. Over the past week, I found that the majority of my people who were killed were in the artisan district. You live near the artisan street, and are likely to be targeted next. I want you to make some noise together, so that the enemy thinks you have discovered something, and try to escape, and thus lure them into taking action early. I want to see who the enemy really is. At this moment, outside the city, I'm still day and night endlessly spawning rabbit monsters. After a week of killing rabbits, I reached level 6. I also fully mastered their attack patterns and weaknesses. First, I neutralized their long-range attacks without injury. Provoked them, and they are provoked. They will cover their bodies with acid to cleanse themselves. They will fight. Acid can be ignited. The downside is that it's very short and not fatal. But if you use the venom of the red-bellied snake as fuel, flames will burn on and up. After using up all the snake's spirits collected during that time, I checked my attribute panel. I found that my level had indeed increased by 1, because I killed multiple enemies in a higher level. All attributes were increased by 1 point. Contract gem has also been upgraded to level 5. I had previously thought that the level of the contract gem was synchronized with my own level. But later I realized that it was different. Contract gems are more difficult to upgrade. I condensed the gem and was ready to eat it. I was looking forward to awakening some new abilities. I hope it's a combat ability. Just then, the dead rabbit. A large amount of black smoke suddenly appeared. Next second, the rabbit stood up shakily. Is this guy still alive? I took out my dagger and continued fighting. The rabbit lunged at me. I swung my dagger and stabbed it with 1 blow. But what was unexpected was, the rabbit turned into black smoke and escaped. Would it be the ghost of the rabbit? You forget it. Ghost or not. Those are demons. Oh, dang. I chased after it and slashed it again. This time, the rabbit didn't have time to turn into black smoke, but was hit by his corpse, straight to the ground. Was this bullet rabbit also controlled by the soul-stealing pill? I was puzzled and opened up the rabbit's stomach. I didn't expect to find something, but it wasn't the soul-attracting pill. I immediately began to identify it. After more than 10 attempts, I finally succeeded. Essence of enlightenment is of unknown quality. That essence. The essence of power stored in the testicles. After taking it, unexpected things will happen.